Well, Kevin, it's all down to this game, is it? 1 point out of 6 if you don't take the 3 here. Very difficult to qualify.
Yeah, we need a win tomorrow night. Probably still a little bit disappointed from our last outing at home that we didn't take all 3 points. Up to about the 75th minute mark, we were leading and travelling okay, so it was a little bit disappointing. But yeah, tomorrow night suggests we've got to win to give ourselves a chance to get out of the group.
It's all about the result and not about the performance, right?
Well, I'd suggest if we don't perform very well, there's not much chance of getting the result. So, I'll revert back to, we've got to get the performance right, without doubt. First and foremost, we will, all the preparations is about the performance. And, if we do get the performance right, we'll have a team out there tomorrow night that's good enough to win. So, performance first and the result will follow.
Made a few surprise changes to us in the gallery anyway. Last week we left out Archie and Pablo Contreras.
Yeah.
Will we see them on Tuesday, or can we expect another surprise setup?
I don't think it's a surprise, Lynchy, because we've obviously got to make decisions. When we're selecting a team, informed decisions. Based on how their bodies are and how much load they've had in previous weeks and how much game time they've had. And sometimes having someone not quite 100%, it's not worth the risk. And we've certainly got a lot to play for in the last, in the next 2 months. So there won't be any risk taken with anybody. And having said that, at the same time, you're selecting the team, the best possible team you think that can go out and get a result. And again tomorrow night there will be changes. We've had a look at the boys this morning. We've had a bit of a jog out there, and these boys have pulled up pretty sore. 3 games last week in 8 days is not easy, and it's taxing on the body. But having said that, I've got the utmost confidence in the squad that we'll put a team out there tomorrow night good enough to win the game.
What about you, Mark? Are you keen for a rest after a busy stretch?
What do you think he's going to say?
Well, how's the body feeling?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Obviously, it's been a busy couple of weeks. It's always a tough trip to Perth. Not just the trip, the match as well. Obviously, they always put in, and it's always a physical encounter. But other than the normal little knocks and things like that, obviously, I'm in pretty good nick, and obviously want to be a part of tomorrow, playing against a Japanese side in Yokohama. Obviously, playing against a Japanese team, means a lot. I spent a couple of years there, so obviously if Kevin sees fit to play me, it'll be a good match.
Mark, how do the Japanese teams differ from Korean or Chinese teams which we've seen play against so far in this group?
Well, I think over the last few matches it's been shown that I think all those countries are sort of really stepping up, and their leagues are all getting a lot better. Obviously, we had a very tough game against China. The Koreans were exceptional, and I think for a long time the Japanese league has been sort of leading the way. But obviously, as I say, it's been shown that the other countries are catching up with their leagues, and they have some very good players and strong teams. So look, I don't expect anything different on tomorrow night. They're going to be very tactically sound. They're going to work extremely hard, and it's going to be a great test for us.
Kevin, I think it's 5 games in 16 days all up.
Mm-hmm.
How big a test is that for you as coach, but also fitness staff, everyone at the club to manage mentally, physically?
Yeah, I suppose I wouldn't have it any other way. To be honest, it is difficult. But everyone at the moment in our domestic competition is trying to win the league, come second, qualify for the Asian Champions League next season. So you're getting yourself into, but it certainly is tough. But I genuinely feel that the squad and the staff have embraced it. We're trying to get through this group stage, but it's not as simple as just looking at it from week to week. We've also got to pick a squad and have in mind how bodies are going to be in 3 weeks' time. And all that, and everything else that goes with it. So, like I said, there's a lot of information that's put forward before picking a team. It's not taken lightly. But the last thing that we think of is that we've got to pick a team that's got to be good enough to win the game. So it is difficult, but like I said, I think everyone's embraced it, and fingers crossed tomorrow night we can put a performance on that's worthy of 3 points.
When you just play once a week, usually on the weekend, and it's all more structured, early in the week you're recovering and you build.
Yeah.
Are the energy levels there for the players and the excitement where they're jumping out of their skin?
I certainly know that the bodies will get tired, and in terms of the medical staff, you're getting a regular report on how players are travelling, and some are obviously in better space than others. But like I said, everyone at the moment, there's no one in there that's putting their hand up, telling me they're tired or sore. There are one or two obvious ones. Adama Troy's come back, from that knock he copped in the first half. That's you're not going to give him a chance, so he's had to stick his hand up. But everyone else wants to play tomorrow night. But again, with all that information, we'll make decisions on who's playing tomorrow night. First and foremost, to win a football game, but with the next 4 or 5 weeks in mind as well.
Does that mean Adama won't?
Adama's not available tomorrow.
Who else?
He's the only one through injury that's not available. Everyone else is available. Obviously, we've got to take into consideration all the travel we've done and the amount of game time everyone's played individually. We'll assess everyone individually and make a decision. But everyone is available. But there will be some changes to the team from Perth.
But if you look at it overall, is it more important to get second in the league to ensure you're in this again next season?
Yeah.
Because you've got to make that choice when you're looking at who's playing where.
Yeah, but it is a difficult one because, if we place a high importance on getting into the competition, then when we get into the competition, not bother about it, what are we... It doesn't make sense, But what I'm trying to, get across that it's the team that's picked on tomorrow night that was picked against John was the team that we thought would give us the best chance to win the game, and it'll happen again tomorrow night. That's just the way it is. And having said all that, I've got a great trust in the squad that anyone that's being picked tomorrow night will go out there and give their best and be good enough to get a result and get a win for the football club. If you take individuals, Jesse Macaronis has come in and he's not let anyone down. He's played the 2 Champions League games. Jimmy Jago's played the 2 Champions League games. He's done very well. That if there's anything I'm disappointed in, it was that for 15 minutes, 15 minutes, the second half of football last week, we was 15 minutes away from getting a win. So sitting here with 2 points less is disappointing.
We don't get to watch a lot of the J League, but you've been looking at Yokohama on the video. What can we expect from them in terms of the tactics?
Again, they're a good footballing team. They're a good footballing team that what we've seen recently in especially last week against the Koreans, that they'll change things up. We go on about how technical the Japanese are and the Asian teams, and they'll be the same. Yokohama will be the same, very, very sound technically, but they will change things up. They will be very direct at times, and that we found that out in against John Book in the second half, that they posed a different question. From times they'll try and play out through the back. Very clever plays in the last third, and every team we've played in the Champions League so far, and tomorrow night will be no different. In that final third, they are lightning, very, very quick, and in transition can hurt you. But at the same time, like I said, at times they can be very direct. So it's going to be a difficult game for us tomorrow night, but one that we're looking forward to.